Intercepted by two Swiss fighter aircraft on the left. Fury, mark your wings.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for a trip, a voyage, back through history, back through time, and then to the future. See you in a bit.
Dire aux oreilles when we talk here.
Ok, tu peux y aller.
C'est parti.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the virtual Swiss Air Force in Memoriam display. First, some words about the team. The In Memoriam was founded in 2014 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Swiss military aviation. Meant to show the past and the present of the Swiss Air Force, the team is composed by 2 to up to 8 aircraft for various types, depending on the aim. This year, we have chosen to present to you some of the most famous periods and planes of the history of the Swiss Air Force. From the dogfights of World War II to the near past and future of the Swiss Air Force. As you probably know, Switzerland is neutral and has been for a very long time. During World War II, though, the Swiss neutrality was regularly put to the test. The central position of Switzerland in between the great European powers led to multiple Swiss airspace intrusions.
The Swiss Air Force mobilized on the 28th of August 1939, 3 days before Germany attacked Poland and initiated World War II. Of the 21 units of the Swiss Air Force, only 3 were judged combat ready and 5 were not yet equipped with aircraft. This deficiency was addressed by procuring further German Bf-109s and French Memoriam D3800 fighters. During the first months of the war, airmen and anti-aircraft soldiers only saw sporadic combat. The first serious fight involving the Swiss Air Force began in June 1940. In 6 days of aerial battles, 11 German aircraft were downed, with the loss of 2 Swiss aircraft and 3 airmen killed. Later in the war, Swiss cities and railway lines were repeatedly bombed by Allied aircraft during the war. On the 1st of April 1944, 50 B-24 Liberators of the US 14th Combat Bombardment Wing bombed Schaffhausen, killing and injuring more than 100 and damaging a large portion of the city. Therefore, Swiss aircraft also intercepted US bombers who were, of course, or whose crew preferred asylum in Swiss internment camps over German or Italian prisoner of war camps. They were then forced to land on Swiss airstrips. When the bombers did not cooperate or even fired at the Swiss, who were using Axis-type interceptors, they were shot down. The B-17G you see flying today, serial number 42-32073, performed an emergency landing in Dubendorf on the 13th of May 1944. It was then repainted in Swiss colours and served for flight testing. It is flown for you today by Alexandre Bornand, call sign Whiz. During the entire war, 6,501 Allied and Axis aircraft violated Swiss airspace, 198 of which landed on Swiss soil and 56 of which crashed. Flown by Anthony Loops, call sign Oopsie. The other plane you see in front of your eyes now is the Memoriam D38-100. In 1938, Switzerland obtained a license for local production of the MS-406. A slightly modified and redesigned version gave us the D38-100. Two pre-production models were then followed with an order for a further 74 examples of the D38-100, which were all delivered by 29 August 1940. During 1944, surviving aircraft were modified with the new cooling and hydraulic installation and were fitted with ejector exhausts. These modifications were the same standard as the D38-01 series, making them identical except for the engine installation. At the end of the war, the remaining aircraft were used as trainers until the last one was scrapped in 1954.
At the end of World War II, technology had advanced and the Swiss fighter fleet was becoming obsolete. In 1948, the Swiss were able to purchase 130 surplus P-51 Mustangs from the United States. Several other aircraft models followed, including 220 de Havilland Vampires purchased in 1949 and 53. Then, 250 venoms were acquired between 44 and 56. The second act of this display aimed to represent the Swiss fighter force in the mid-50s. You have obviously recognized the lead aircraft flown by Brian Goley, callsign Zen, the legendary P-51 Mustang. He's flying with the mighty Javelin 112 Venom in early silver colors flown by David Soldati, callsign Woody. Three versions of the Venom sported the famous white cross rumble, the Mark I, the Mark 1R, the Mark IV, which you see today. First entering service as a fighter, the Venom was soon relegated to the ground attack role as more advanced jets were phased in. Venoms were often flown by militia pilots from the mountain airbase like Embry and Hurricane. Those pilots had a normal job, teacher or car mechanics for instance, and were only flying as part of their military service, which was and still is mandatory for all Swiss men.
The de Havilland Venom is one of the first jet fighters produced in Great Britain in the 1950s. It is also one of the most iconic, having been produced to more than 1,500 models. Far more advanced
than this P-51, that is an American long-range single-seat fighter and fighter bomber used during World War II and the Korean War. The Mustang is quite old. It was designed in April 1940 by a team headed by James H. Kinderberg in North American Aviation. This was the answer of the Royal Air Force requirements concerning the plane. It would be quite efficient in the plane of World War II. You can see that the speed gap to the earlier Pro fighter was already big with that pass of the jet fighter for a very high-speed pass.
Whoa, Black Betty, Bam-a-lam, whoa, Black Betty, Bam-a-lam, she's from Birmingham, Bam-a-lam, way down in Alabama, Bam-a-lam, well, she's shaking that thing, Bam-a-lam, boy, she makes me sing, Bam-a-lam, whoa, Black Betty, Bam-a-lam, whoa, Black Betty,
We feel it is now time for ground attack. Here comes another DH112 Venom, but in later colours, accompanied by the very famous Hawker Hunter Mark 58. In the late 50s, Switzerland started the evaluations for a new jet fighter. The competitors included the F-86 Sabre, the Fallen Gnat and the Hawker Hunter. The choice was made to buy Hawker's jet. The first Hunters were delivered to the Swiss Air Force in January 1958, making it the first Air Force in the world to operate exclusively on jet fighters. Later, the Swiss Air Force, looking for an aircraft to replace its Venoms, wanted to try the A7 Corsair. However, the Hunter was chosen instead. That competition resulted in the purchase of 60 second-hand Hawker Hunters in the beginning of the 1970s. In 1973, the Swiss Air Force was operating more than 160 Hunters. It was also used by the famous Patrouille Suisse demonstration team. Swiss Hunters were updated to the K-West standard in the 1980s, allowing them to carry a wide range of modern weapons like the Sidewinder missile, as well as a new radar, RWR system, chaff flare dispensers and a third underwing weapon station. That, combined with the Hunter's 4 30mm Adden cannons, made it a perfect choice for a ground attack aircraft, as well as a great fighter. The Hunter you're looking at is flown today by Robin Nadler, callsign Chucky. In the 1970s, Swiss DH112s were modified with a new UHF radio, a bomb calculator, and equipped with an IFF. The nose was extended to host the new equipment. If you see a Venom with a pointy nose, it's definitely a former Swiss one. The Venom today is flown by Sylvain Born, callsign Spitz.
Some Swiss pilots once said, "No mountain climbs harder than the Hunter."
The Hawker Hunter stood in service until 1993, and some of them are still flying with civilian registrations in Switzerland. One of them is a twin-seater and is used to give people the opportunity of realizing their dream on flying in an authentic fighter jet.
In the early 60s, tensions were rising between the East and the West. Switzerland, neutral and stuck between two superpowers, had to adapt. Soviet strategic bombers flying at a high altitude to deliver the nuclear fire became the big new danger. The current fleet wasn't enough, and Switzerland started looking for a new interceptor capable of flying very high and very fast. After looking at their different options, the French Mach 2 capable Mirage 3 won the evaluation and another was placed for 100 airframes. Unfortunately, the Swiss choice to replace the French Cyrano radar with the American Taurus 18, along with a lot of other heavy modifications, would lead to the biggest scandal of Swiss military aviation history. Indeed, the cost of these aircraft went through the roof and only 57 of the Mirage started in 1960. Three versions were operated by the Swiss Air Force: the Mirage 3S Miro Interceptor, the Mirage 3 RS AMIR Reconnaissance Aircraft, and the Mirage 3 VSDS AMIR Conversion Trainer. Flying the AMIR today is Antoine Gramin, call sign Tonito. The twin-seater AMIR is flown by Karim Ray, call sign Goofy. In the late 80s, the Swiss Mirage were upgraded with nose, brakes and colors. Swiss Mirage were notably J2 capable and operated from Alpine turbines. Every story has an end, so the Mirage 3S was retired in 1999, while the Mirage 3 RS NDS stayed in service until 2003. The twin-seater Mirage 3D SG-12 that you see flying today still flies in real life under the civilian registration HBRDF at Bayern Air Base, just behind the wall we are narrating from, the very place we are living from. If you can afford it, you can actually book a passenger flight in it, so feel free to contact the museum if you are interested and if you want to know the thrill of flying this wonderful jet fighter. So yes, we love the Mirage, we all love the most beautiful plane ever built on this wonderful earth. Swiss Delta Wings salutes you. In the 70s, with the extensive use of the Hunter and the ground attack role caused by the retiring of all Venoms, came the need for a new interceptor for Switzerland. Surprisingly, although the little fighter was meant to be sold to a developing country, it was the F5 Tiger that obtained the favor of Swiss.
1976, the Parliament approved the procurement of 70 Tigers, of which 6 were twin-seaters. The final assembly was to be done in EMIR. In 1981, it was decided that 38 more Tigers would join the Swiss fleet of 110 machines. The jet was not equipped with the most sophisticated technologies, like radar-guided missiles and state-of-the-art avionics. But its agility and flexibility of operation was exactly what Switzerland needed at the time. From there, the Swiss Tigers started their long career. With its small size, the F5 was, and still is, the perfect aircraft to operate from the Swiss mountain air bases and their caverns. The agile little fighter was later chosen by the famous Patrouille Suisse aerobatic team to replace their Hunters in 1995. Since then, they have been fascinating the crowd at air shows all across Europe. The lead F5 tonight is piloted by Ferdinand Ruesch, call sign Senfi. The second Tiger is flown by Mark Merminov, call sign Mermin. Powered by two General Electric J85 afterburning turbojet engines, producing each 3,500 pounds of thrust and 5,000 ref afterburner, the F5 is one of the most iconic supersonic interceptors of the early Cold War. Of course, you might also recognize the shape as it being the famous fictional MiG-28 in the first Top Gun movie.
Swiss main fighting force is now composed by a mix of F-18 Hornets and F-5 Tigers. Unfortunately, the fleet is aging rapidly. After the Swiss people voted against their purchase of the Saab Gripen in 2013, the future of the Air Force was more than ever uncertain. The armed force then launched the Air 2030 program, which resulted this year in the purchase of US Patriot SAM system, as well as 36 F-35A fighters. The first aircraft are set to be delivered in 2027. Coming from your left and flying the Lightning today is Sébastien Parat, call sign Tinder. During the first part of this display in Memoriam Swiss Air Force, we were seeing the past of Swiss Air Force, and now we are seeing the future of Swiss Air Force with the mighty F-35 Lightning.
Indeed, truly time traveling from the past to the future across a very wide range of aircraft, looking at how technology and aviation has evolved up to now.
Tradition and innovation can be sometimes so close. On the screen, there are so many different planes in the virtual sky, and yet they are flying together. I let you imagine the hard working of the different people who create those modes in order to make them fly under the same mission. This is one very, very complex thing to do in DCS with so many modes. So people who create the modes and all people working for this demonstration, I'd like to thank you.
To conclude today's demonstration, we would like to take this moment to address our thoughts and prayers to those who, throughout history, gave their lives to protect the skies above Switzerland. While Switzerland is a neutral and peaceful country, its central position in the middle of a big European powers with the busiest airspace of the old continent has and still exposes the Swiss people to great dangers. From the dogfights of World War II to the complex dangers of our century, Swiss pilots have always given their best to ensure the safety of those who live or travel through this beautiful country. Their spirit is well represented by the motto of Swiss Air Force, "Pacapona," never surrender.
This demonstration was flown under the watchful eye of someone very, very important here in Payerne. We will have the unique opportunity to have him in an interview a bit later. We'll explain who these people is, and after the next show, of course, so within 15 minutes. This someone is someone who is responsible for this museum, and we will be able to talk about this demonstration, for instance, in those planes, especially in only 15 minutes.
Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, after the next display, you will have an interview with none other than the director of the museum we are shooting. We would also like to thank the cameraman for today's performance, none other than the great and the mighty Tango, founder of Virtual Air Festivals and fellow Virtual Air Show enthusiast since more than 15 years. Give it up for Tango in the chat.
Send some love to the man, the myth, the legend, a people we all love like Santa Claus, Mr. Sydney Tango Christen. Hey, there you are.
Welcome back. Not Tango this time. Dear viewers.
No, Tango is still working because, as we were saying before, so many people behind the camera in order to make all of this match.
Indeed.